Hmm. Questions. This like it's gonna take a while. Well, while that takes a while, we can play something else. And with that, you can say go. So
So, sorry, fantasy coaches, that anybody will bet on me.
Welcome back to Mysterious TikTok's part number 30. A story where there is more to life than the endless of insane and horror. And when you do, you can ultimately be left confused and astounded. But if we change the perspective from this, and instead focus on the man with the incredibly suspicious catchphrase, and then eventually become a big part of the audience, the idea that life for everything like that.
Wait, Pharaoh. I will resurrect the Pharaoh.
Like
resurrect the Pharaoh.
First place. He wanted to make her climax.
Just wait, Pharaoh.
How often do you get from the next one? How would you like to start treatment options? My husband, everything. Relationship is not stable. That's redemption. So you expect my favor and duel. Wait, fill out the free online intake form to get started. A lot of following your accounts. They are a big trail with options. Don't worry. Time to upgrade your vehicle. Drive a little, take a lot. I Welcome back. Mysterious Tips Box part number 38. There is so much crazy stuff happening in the world, so I want to
Whatever your reason for dueling me, you better not waste my time by holding back. You're not ready to compete on my level. Duel! Get ready. My turn. I'll pulverize you!
You better come with something good, my guy. Okay.
I set the card.
He's doing... Okay. Basically the same strategy.
From my hand, I activate a continuous spell.
What a lot of people don't realize about me.
My turn.
I literally had to fight
I draw.
in school to play this with my boys before we could play like this or on our phones. We wish we had this on our phones or a version or something like that for us back in the day. Nah, bro, I got in fights over these. Trying to rip my cards and shit. Yeah.
I set a card.
Show my ass.
I activate my continuous trap. True light. Not a single card can stand up to this. I call on Blue Eyes White Dragon.
I haven't changed this deck.
See how you like this. I activate a continuous spell. I end my
This the
turn.
only show
Get ready.
where the main
My
character
turn.
is my favorite
Draw.
character. And the
From my hand, I activate a spell.
original season this card and the story is Blue Eyes.
True Light's effect activates. Not a single. I activate a continuous spell. use my set card. I activate a trap.
Yes, that's what I figured. He's still gonna attack you.
Battle. Blue eyes, lay
We'll see what
waste to
happens
your
next turn. I might
enemy.
lose.
White
He'll pull it out of my
lightning.
butt.
I'll get you for this.
Fucked up because I should have activated two lights. Summoned this blue eye, activated this. Graveyard, attack.
What a mistake! I flip over my set card. I activate a continuous trap. The light from my dragon erases the shadows. Let's go, Blue Eyes.
Saved my life.
I've completed another flawless
It's not
turn.
over.
Man, no,
My eye draw. Let's battle. Blue Eyes, White Dragon,
I could have
attack!
attacked that one and just
White
saw them out
Lightning!
and then used it. That's just what my bad.
True Light's effect activates. Not a secret.
You know.
I was expecting that. I activate a continuous spell. Blue Eyes, White Dragon, attack! White Lightning! I've had enough of your
It's clearly
tricks.
obvious that my
I end
strategies
my
are
turn.
superior to yours.
My turn. I draw. True Light's effect activates. You won't escape from me. I'll use my set card. I activate a trap.
He's like, what? Another one? Damn it. That's my turn. Another one.
Not a single card can.
I activate a
Aw.
continuous spell.
Right. I forgot about that. Yeah. Forgot about that one too, right? You punch your skin. That's the one person.
Priestess with eyes of blue activates her effect.
This is Master Duel. It is
priestess with eyes of blue. Do you know the surrender icon? You should touch it. I end my turn. It's not over. My turn. I draw. Set a card. From my hand, I activate a spell. True Light's effect activates. Not a single. Not so fast. I activate a continuous spell. See how much stronger I am than you. Blue Eyes White Dragon, attack! White Lightning! I've had enough of your tricks. It's clearly obvious that my strategies are superior to yours. I draw. Light's effect activates. I set a card face down. Here's my face down card. I activate a ritual spell.
Okay, so he's running the same deck.
Here I come. Ritual summon.
See his deck count though? That's what I was trying to get down for it to happen. I mean, it doesn't matter if he uses his ability
will now battle.
Yeah. Okay. From my hand, I activate a quick play spell. Huh? But he has zero defense.
I've completed another flawless turn. My turn.
Okay. I mean, that seems really dumb.
I draw. True Light's effect activates. Not a single.
activate a continuous spell. Blue Eyes White Dragon, attack! White Lightning!
Rid of that.
You'll pay for this. I end my turn. My turn.
I can beat this.
I draw!
White elephant. Sonic Boom.
Not a single card.
He's probably mad at me right now. Oh, he's mad at me right now. Like, oh, bro, I'm trying to kill you. Just die. You have 1,000 life points. Never.
I set a card face down.
I'm about to kill you.
Battle.
Oh, you have to do that. You can't just go to
Do you know the surrender icon? You should touch it. I end
You
my
see that?
turn. It's not over.
You see that?
My turn.
Yeah, he's mad, bro.
I draw. Let's battle. I've had enough of your tricks. I end my turn. My turn.
I draw! I set a monster.
Priestess with eyes of blue activates her effect.
I reveal my face down card. My counter trap activates.
You dare?
Will now battle.
Gonna hurt. I don't see the point.
I've completed another flawless turn.
It's not over. My turn. I draw.
That's how I see it. If they're putting inside next to the
continuous trap.
When I was younger, it's a perfect remedy. Because what they do, they target people who are partners.
Destroy the...
There might be someone who's trying to play another one of them who's looking to have that closure or communication. It's so easy for them to demonic
From my hand, I activate a spell.
to gain that trust.
Show yourself.
Because
I
the first
summon
one
a
you
monster.
say, "Oh, man, how can they tell you that this is-" How can they say, you know, break up this person?
Come on out. I summon a monster.
They'll tell you things. Those whispers will be done by you away from the person that we all know. So that's my end of video advice.
I set a
You're
card.
not seeking information, anything else. If you want guidance, want help,
You'll see how much stronger I am than you.
God is the only person we should go to with advice and guidance. His demons will lead you down a path that may seem
Get
fun and
My
happy,
monster attack.
but it's in the opposite direction. Because what feels good isn't necessarily effective. Yeah? So just be careful, guys. Be super careful, stay on your toes, stay vigilant out there because there's a lot of strange things happening. And I think that's just a big, we are caught in the middle of a massive spiritual warfare right now. And the light and the dark are fighting each other. And the objective of the darkness is to take people there because they know their fate. So they need to take as many souls as they can with them. That's their job.
Blue
So
Eyes
don't
White
be
Dragon. Attack.
deceived and
White Lightning.
That'll work on I'm not getting my pedestal here saying
This is
I
an
know that. I've gone through it. I've gone through the psychic, the non-believing stages, you know, trapped in darkness. I went through it all, and everything all it needs to instruct you guys. Go to mediums, go to fortune tellers, card readers, palm readers, whatever it's called, to the demonic. Protect yourselves all the time, spiritual warfare is around your thing. You know, if you go to war, right, in this world, in the physical world, they tell you to put armor on that, put armor on, here's a sword and shield, to protect you from the enemy. But what about spirits, spiritual warfare? Prayer. Prayer is your armor. So, and I know for those who don't pray, it might be a bit weird, but it will come. It will come naturally. Just be careful out there, guys. And I pray for you all every day. Keep you protected, keep you safe, and I'll continue to do that. So thank you all so much for supporting me. I'm really enjoying making these videos. If you've got any critiques, I really appreciate any feedback. I won't get triggered. Honestly, I just appreciate anyone that's trying to help me
I
out.
could have just stalled him out and just killed his deck without even beating him. That would have been funny. But, you know. Kinda just want to get that one over with. Hey, welcome guys. Welcome to the stream. Starting all over. So I have this game on Xbox, but I have not played it on PC. Change the screen setting full. Starting all over fresh. What? Friends. So, this thing. Tell your friends who are new and returning your master's campaign code. Oh, okay. And you both get rewards. Yeah. Hey, take that code, guys. Take that code. Take that code. Let me put that in the chat right now. 1 second. Almost ended the stream. Almost ended the stream by accident. Let me see. What happens if I put in my own campaign code? It ain't gonna work. Oh yeah, I already did that. Look at that stuff. Bada. Ice Rally. What's this? Oh, battle dice. Oh, I remember this. This was like between one of the dice monsters. I think Pegasus tried to do that, right? Let's go to the shop and see what's popping off nowadays. 3D version. Let's see what we got going on. Ruler's Providence. Limited to 1 player. Dang. What? I might have to get that. Limited to 1 player. Limited to 1 per player, excuse me. But 2,400 carats. It's not bad. Football stadium. 1 pack and free pulls. 90 million download competitive pool. 1 per player. Bro, I might have to go with the Soldiers of the Storm. I don't even know what I'm doing right now as far as these packs. I know about these guys. I don't know about these two. I ain't gonna lie. But that's the animation for him? Are these, these must be the new ones, like the new ones. Let's do these free pulls and see what we get there. I mean, we got a bunch of free stuff to get. This is why I like leaving games and then coming back to games later. Cause, yeah. Well, also I don't have an account on here, so that's another reason. My Xbox account, I'm like level. Like 76 or something. I don't know. I forget. I like using the 6 Samurai when they came out. Oh, yeah. Algidias? I don't know. Very easy. Alistair, the Invoker, and 1 fusion. Okay. And Witchcraft Genie. Witchcrafter. And then Rose Tentacles. Why do I always get Rose Tentacles, bro? So then I'm gonna go with these though. I don't know. I don't know, bro. Spellcasters or the soldiers? Those people like that's not good. this right now. No, because that's just gonna lead into the cloak and dagger over there, man. Legacy packs. Yeah, classic. I forgot about this. Let's see, who did I have last time? I had this guy last time. Because Overraptor is my dude. I had Overraptor and one of these. I like that. I'm getting it. I like those sleeves. Hell yeah. Wallpapers, deck boxes, pot of greed. Oh yeah, I ain't done that yet. Stop. Damn it. There we go. Hey, what are you? Oh, yeah. Regeki went back up to 3? The fuck? Okay. Oh, cool. Okay, they linked everything together. That's nice. When you buy it for 700, you get 700. But oh, I can do this. Bundle deals. I could get both of them. Double strike. Was that good? I feel like that was good. Yeah, boy, it is. He's supposed to come out, Donnie. There he is. Guardian of Velvet. Striker mobilization engaged. If you control no monsters in your main in your monster zone, to add on Sky Striker card from your deck to your hand, except Sky Striker mobilization. Wait, what deck is that? What pack is that? Oh, here we go. Ah. What? I'm gonna retry that. 10 packs only 1,000? I like these Sky Strikers though. They look pretty cool. Let's go to Sky Strikers, bro. Let's learn them. Let's learn something new. For me, well, for me, oh, whoa! First pack. What was that? Never got that before in my life. Never got the third one. 3. Oh, okay. Widow Archer. Oh, okay. Then that's nothing. Alright, I like this. I like the art. I like the card art. It's dope. There's one. Ray. Gem Knight. Wait, there's new Gem Knights? Obsidian. Oh, that's alright, that's cool. I like the Gem Knights. Is this more of the same? Oh, it just went ahead and skipped all 10 packs. Oh, okay. What is it? Nope, 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 nope. Oh, I need 80 more gems. Wait. Oh, okay, yeah. No, you're right. Yeah, we need basic position.
that's why we're experiencing, or pilots experiencing all kinds of electrical interference when they fly over the Bermuda Triangle. Third and Friends, August 24th, 1954. In this small town outside of Paris, numerous eyewitnesses report several mysterious oval-shaped craft above the same river, traveling at great speeds before suddenly vanishing into thin air. It is the first of more than 300 UFO incidents that would take place in France during the year. Journalist Amy Michelle begins studying the reported flight paths of many of these accounts and makes an astonishing observation. All these UFO sightings appeared in straight lines, moving crisscrossing, and as he kept getting reports coming in, kept plotting them, kept finding the same system happening, the same lines, the same movements of these UFOs. In 1958, Michelle published his research in a book called Flying Saucers and the Straight Line Mystery. In the book, he introduced a principle he called orthogony, which held that clusters of UFO activity over a short period of time usually occur along straight lines that often intersect. What Amy Michelle started to realize was that there seemed to be a where these objects appeared, and also their flight paths. He saw that they actually used specific lines which he felt were connected with the magnetic forces of the Earth. He's noticing that these UFOs are traveling in straight lines using latitudes, and that in fact this can be extrapolated into an entire grid that encapsulates the entire planet. Is it possible that Amy Michelle successfully identified a grid pattern across the Earth of highly magnetized regions that have come to be known as UFO hotspots? Ancient astronaut theorists believe that further clues can be found by examining an area that has become notorious for mysterious phenomena and strange disappearances. The Bermuda Triangle. With the Bermuda Triangle, it is an irrefutable fact that planes and ships of various sizes have disappeared without a trace.
To be a pet parent is to be human. Sometimes we feel guilty. We can only do so much. That's why more than pet peeves by a pet. Wasn't it? Get your outdoor awakeness with can't-miss pieces from Ashley. From soaking up the sun to staying stylish in the shade. Discover looks designed to make the great outdoors, well, greater. Shop in-store and online at Ashley. If you're interested in getting tired, that's because photo tracing is full of surprises. Extra fiber, there's no install fee, no nonsense, and the same price every month. Visit fiber.google.com to get the same price we offer.
You also have UFO and UAP stories. In the last century, roughly 50 ships and 20 airplanes have vanished without a trace within this infamous 500,000 square mile stretch of the Atlantic Ocean. According to Scottish biologist and paranormal researcher Ivan T. Sanderson, the Bermuda Triangle is just one of a strange and disturbing kind of UFO hotspot that he described as the world's 12 viral disease.
He was able to identify easily certain spots like the Bermuda Triangle, the Dragon's Triangle, places like the Great Pyramid, and other huge monument areas. And there was activity going on in these places. Disappearing ships and airplanes, UFO activity, lights and unusual phenomena that were occurring constantly.
In his 1972 article entitled 12 Demonstrated Around the World, Sanderson mapped these sites at equidistant points above and below the equator,
At this point, they formed a mysterious geometrical pattern on the Earth's surface. There are 12 these across the globe. You know, 5 of them are within the Tropic of Cancer and 5 of them within the Tropic of Capricorn. The other 2, North Pole and the South Pole. What's interesting is if you connect all of these through the sphere of our globe and make an icosagon or a 20-sided polygon. So this is showing us how all of these type of hotspots are connected to each other. The hotspot sites Sanderson identified share more than just a unique history and geometry. Many of these so-called wild vortices have strong magnetic anomalies caused by variations or disturbances in the Earth's magnetic field. If you look at the Earth, the Earth has a magnetic field like a bar magnet. The field of magnetism comes out from the North Pole or the South Pole. It comes from the fact that inside the Earth there is churning electricity. And we don't know that there are anomalies there. It's as if our
I don't know what just happened, but I like them. Their outfits. What's up, Wooly? Rescue Rabbit, man. A legend. You're just gonna wait me out. Gotta learn these decks.
dirty money.
Excuse me. Now I gotta get on my Xbox and see what's going on.
I think that's not going into the base when they were in construction. And also sometimes you see winter vehicles being dragged into the base. They set them up inside the bombing ranges for city targets. Just pull over here, there's a sheriff's vehicle coming our way. We don't want any trouble. We don't want blockades. We don't want to go any further.
This is extra security. I don't think we've ever seen like this much. In light of the tension surrounding the Storm Area 51 event, the military has implemented a zero-tolerance lockdown at the gates of the secret base. So, here we are. I think this is about as far as we can go. The point of no return, right?
Yes. We cannot go any further.
All this barbed wire here, all these security measures, this is the point at which, if you take one step further, the full force of security will come down on us, right?
They told me saying you step one step into their territory and everything's going to change.
If I came up here, is anybody going to talk to me or say anything to me?
These are clients that spell out in plain English bad things are going to happen to you if you cross this line.
Right?
It's very clear.
So now look, if we walk past that barrier, up that road, what would we see? What would we find?
We walk down about 20 miles, the main road, into the area 51 is located. In between here and the base, there's more security checkpoint, there's more road sensors. If you want to get to Area 51, you're standing there, you get the road, and it looks like any other military Air Force base. But the good stuff is already happened. It is not on the open. It's not like, they got the salvo right down the runway.
So there are hangars, obviously, but there are even rumors of a huge underground facility carved into the side of the mountain.
There are people that talk about underground facilities. They keep tabs on people that watch the base. They know exactly where somebody's up in Chicago Peak, for instance, one of the new spots of the base.
Located 26 miles from the Area 51 base, Chicago Beach is the only public land where people can actually see the Groom Lake runway and hangars.
And they know exactly, okay, where I know it's a good moment to fly out next month, and that's when they bring out the good stuff. And actually, we Chicago Peak when they did the test flight, and it was the most amazing thing. We looked at the base, and all of a sudden, in the middle of the night, all the runway lights come on. I mean, it's the most amazing thing to watch. All of a sudden, the desert in front of you, you becomes light. You see a light taxi to the runway, the light takes off, the runway lights go out, the light goes out, and that was the end of that. I mean, literally, feet above the runway, lights just went out.
That's ultra high security. And whatever that thing was, clearly they were really trying to protect it and minimizing that anyone can get eyes on it.
Correct.
Washington, D.C., April 2011. The FBI releases thousands of files as part of its online FBI vault. One particular file draws the attention of the media and independent researchers. The memo, dated March 22nd, 1950, is a briefing to FBI Director J. Edgar Hoover regarding informant information about 3 flying saucers that were recovered in New Mexico. Investigators in conveniently connect the memo to the infamous Roswell incident, a purported UFO crash that many people believe was covered up by the military in 1947. But this document is just the latest in a series of government files that have been released in recent years, suggesting there may be more to the Roswell crash than the public was told.
As an investigative reporter,
They just gave up.
amazed by
They didn't
how
even-
many documents from the 1940s have actually come out into the world and lay out details about what really happened at Roswell. On July 4th, a rancher named Mac Brown finds all kinds of strange silver debris. He knows he doesn't understand what he's walking through. He decides to go into Roswell and tell the sheriff something has crashed on that ranch. Intel coming out of Roswell Army Airfield get assigned to go to the debris field. And these men are told that they are to pick up every single thing that is in the debris field from the massive Roswell Ranch. Everything is picked up.
On July 8, 1947, the headline on the front page of the Roswell Daily Record reports that the military had retrieved a flying saucer. But the following day, the official story is suddenly changed to suggest it was nothing more than a failed weather balloon.
Roswell is the home of the 509 bomb group. This was the only atomic bomb-capable squadron anywhere in the world. These people were the best of the best. The idea that intelligence personnel in this base would mistake a weather balloon for something exotic is preposterous. So that, arguably, is the start of the UFO cover-up. Weather balloons, swamp gas, meteorite, it doesn't matter. It's always something else but a UFO. The Roswell crash was covered up. The fact that they retracted the story of having captured a flying saucer, in my opinion, was quick PR damage control. The world was told, no, just a weather balloon. And for more than 30 years, that's where it was left, until witnesses started to surface, saying, no, it was actually an extraterrestrial craft. And people saw alien bodies. The Minuteman Missile National Historic Site, South Dakota, June 28, 2019. Wow. Giorgio Sucros is with former Air Force Commander Robert Salas at a decommissioned nuclear launch site that is identical to one at Malmstrom Air Force Base, where Salas had a UFO encounter in 1967. So after the object flew away, what happened next? The missiles come back online. We had to bring maintenance crews out to go through a very intricate procedure to bring them back up online. Within 24 hours, we had our missiles back up. And then, was there a debriefing or was there a discussion? We were ordered to our squadron commander's office right away. And I said, what the hell happened there? And he said, I don't know. I asked him specifically, could it have been some kind of an Air Force exercise? He said, absolutely not. And then the guy next to him shoved his paper out and said, sign here. I said, what is this? He said, this non-disclosure statement about the incident. I want never to speak about it to anybody. So you were given an order. We were ordered to sign up. And that was it. I could not speak about this, and I didn't speak about this to anyone for about 27 years. Some believe that the ability of UFOs to shut down nuclear missiles poses a great threat to national security. And that the Malmstrom incident suggests the aliens had a hostile intent. But Robert Salas believes it shows the opposite.
The intruders were demonstrating their concern for mankind. They did not damage the missiles. They did not hurt anybody. They had some kind of a weapon. They did not use it against any of the guards. So all it was to me was a message, and the message was get rid of the nukes. They will not help you in any way advance your civil life. Over the years, we thought about this, and essentially was a warning that this is not the way to go. Exactly. Robert Salas and his commanders saw that all 10 missiles, one by one, went offline. Now, this is something that the Air Force later deemed could not be possible because all of these missiles are all independent. So the likelihood of someone being able to manipulate this is almost zero. And I say almost zero because clearly somebody did it. I could feel the emotion by Robert, and for over 20 years he has invested in this, and there are dozens of similar examples.
Commando training course. Designed to separate the boys from the men. And turn what's left into elite soldiers. Green Beret. They must first survive 13 weeks of hell. A brutal selection course that almost half will fail. And only the best will survive. Four large forces hit the combat zone. Malaysia's Group Maracas Commandos are the first men on the ground. Sneaking in deep behind enemy lines by air, sea, or land.
Dipecahkan kepada kumpulan-kumpulan kecil. Yang mana kumpulan-kumpulan kecil ni kalau kita tengok zaman sekarang ni lebih kepada operasi gerila.
To gather intelligence.
Maksudnya kita hanya memerlukan 5 orang anggota kita yang pakar dalam latihan-latihan ni, dan kita akan carilah local resources daripada mana-mana.
Rescue hostages. Or make the kill. They get in, and they get out undetected. But what makes them a cut above the rest is their ability to fight and survive in some of the world's most extreme jungles. Malaysia borders 6 countries in a region plagued by past conflicts, one of which gave birth to this elite unit. 1963. Neighboring country Indonesia launches the Crush Malaysia campaign, sending troops to attack the newly independent nation. A difficult border war was fought deep in the rainforests of Borneo, and a new elite force was needed, skilled in unconventional jungle warfare. Britain's Green Berets, the Royal Marine Commandos, were sent to help train a new group of fighters. 1,600 soldiers volunteered for training. 300 were selected. Of the 50 that went through the first course, only 12 passed. Today, there are fewer than 3,500 GGK commandos, a small elite club. To join it, these men will have to go through 3 months of relentless physical and psychological torture. Will bring all their best. And the pain starts here. the Special Warfare Training Center in Malacca, Southwest Malaysia. 5 a.m. 180 new recruits are in week 1 of their course. Just to get here, they've already passed the 6-week selection process. Now, these survivors are about to start the real thing. If they thought they knew what was ahead, they were wrong. In phase 1 of this course, instructors are looking to lose the weakest recruits as quickly as possible. It's just begun 36 hours of continuous hell that will push everyone to the edge. It seems like torture, but it's designed to find out who really wants to be here.
Awak bisa macam apa yang keluarga kita refresh. Kita nak komando masih volunteer to enter the main game. There is a voting. If you are not sure, just go back.
The tiger is the commando's regimental crest, signifying bravery, ferocity, and strength. Qualities they expect those in the task to possess. They've done 5 hours of endless brutal exercises. The recruits are exhausted. But weakness is not accepted. Recruit 12 isn't keeping up.
Yang susun kita ada macam didikan sama. Bagi saya setakat ni saya boleh ikut dia.
This is what they are fighting for. The Covenant Green Beret. Inherited from the Royal Marine Commandos, it's an iconic symbol of an elite group.
Jadi, Green Beret ini sesiapa yang memiliki Green Beret diumpamakan adalah aspek yang terbaik di dalam Malaysia.
But only a select few of these recruits will ever get to wear it. The men are trained, but there will be no rest. We've only completed 7 hours. We've got 29 more to go. Next is an 11-kilometer run with a 17-kilogram combat load, and we need 7 minutes to finish it. To make it harder, it's midday, and the temperature is above 30 degrees Celsius.
Giant full-light has to be done.
It's a real tough.
In this heat, losing fluids is a real problem. Muscles start to cramp and the body starts to overheat. Dehydration means failure. 40 minutes into the run, and the sun has claimed its first victim.
Dalam keadaan macam ni, kita dah banyak dari basic komando, jadi kita dah biasa.
If recruits are sent to the hospital, they automatically fail the course. With little time left, they can't afford to slow down for a minute. Time is up. 77 have failed the run, and the 30-degree heat has taken its toll on everyone.
Normally from competition.
24 hours in, and overnight another 7 recruits have dropped out due to injuries from yesterday's run. 173 survivors are already on their next challenge. It's the 300-meter obstacle course, designed to test balance, confidence, and above all, teamwork. The last hurdle will be the toughest, A 3.5-meter vertical wall. Work is essential to be a GGK commando. Real operations teamwork will keep them alive. Recruit 12 is once again struggling, holding up the rest of his team. Some teams have already reached the final hurdle, the 3.5-meter wall. Now, it's time for teamwork. To clear this obstacle, they need to form a pyramid. Short guys on the bottom, tallest in flight is aiming for the top. A falling recruit becomes the first casualty. His M16 rifle muzzle puncturing his neck. In battle, failure to work together could be more than a flesh wound. They reorganize and clear the wall. It's 30 hours in, but not over yet. This obstacle force is just preparing them for an even tougher challenge. Tonight, they will do it in the dark, 10 meters above the ground, making the smallest stake up here could be their biggest. Recruits fighting to become a part of Malaysia's elite commando.
He did all that work and still couldn't beat me. I just used one marshmallow, bro. Marshmallow is still fucking broken. Hold on. They made a more broken version of marshmallow than was already available? When did this happen? He did all that. And then went, oh, well, I can't damage him. So, and you're not gonna outdeck me because you just like ran through half the deck. So, pretty funny. I learned to just like against these decks that like to run through their decks for certain cards for their effects. I just like to start. Cause why not, right? I don't have any cards right now, so I'm using a loaner. Nice avatar. So I have to get that one. Open the back. Boom. Oh, I already got marshmallow in my hand. I'm not gonna make that mistake again. Well, special summon you. Discard you. Attack. Defensive failure.
But despite tonight's success, Recruit 12 has failed Big One, of course.
Just doing something. Or deciding to do something. Or she.
6 more days of the selection force to go. Phase 2. The training from here moves into a more tactical phase. It's going to get tougher and tougher. Next up, they face a 160-kilometer non-stop forced march that will take them 3 days.
equivalent to doing almost 4 marathons back to back, with little food and less rest. Normally,
Untuk mengutip pertahanan kita sebelah yang sebenarnya kita akan lari lebih daripada ini lagi. Jaraknya lebih jauh daripada 160 km. Jadi 200 km atau lebih lagi.
the GGK normally operate on foot, covering
Right,
huge
that doesn't-
distances, but getting behind the enemy lines
Because I
sometimes
mean,
requires
you're not killing what I got waiting on. I don't care what you do. You just gonna be mad as soon as you attack. You gonna be mad because you can either attack this and do a little bit of damage, or hopefully attack this and destroy it, or you get an effect off. And it's not gonna happen. That timer don't stop killing. I wish I could see their timer. Easy. Yeah, here we go. Doesn't matter what you do, bro. You know how this card works. You know how all this works, man. You have the same deck. Come on. You know how this goes. Oh no, announced.
place. Dehydration is a real threat. Instructors keep a close eye out for telling signs. Its first symptoms are muscle cramps and dizziness, which can rapidly lead to a full body shutdown.
Dia gigit kayu tu supaya dia tak boleh gigit dengan lidah. Dan sekarang ni keadaan panas. Panas ni. Dia kalau ada senang, jadi dia akan gigit terus.
Recruits are carrying 17-kilogram packs. It's up to them to decide when to snack and replace vital foods. But the instructors set the pace. They're trying to keep the pack together to avoid any stragglers who may be tempted to hitch a ride. It's 15 hours in, and there's something end of the road. But not everyone is struggling.
Saya suka jalan laju. hotel yang berada yang panah buat kemudian my body is okay. There's no much pain. And there's my legs still okay. So far so good. I can still walking. Can still smiling.
At this stage, teamwork and leadership will be judged. Recruit 2 needs his section to keep up.
They just make a run for 5 seconds. So, dash for 5 seconds, and then quickly rest. Soldier is about teamwork. So, how big or small we are, we need to be together.
GGK commandos need to push themselves beyond the normal physical pain barrier. It takes extreme mental strength to keep the body moving. But in combat, that could save lives. 90 kilometers in. As high noon hits, some can't take the pain anymore. Despite Recruit 2's best efforts, one of his buddies is in serious trouble. Disorientation and confusion are signs of advanced dehydration. His friends want him to finish, but his condition is getting worse.
Dan tunggu ada sebabnya ada dokter. Dokter dah menunjukkan atau ada berikan lagi ataupun minta berikan lagi.
They urgently need to rehydrate him. If he doesn't get saline solution in the next few minutes, he could go into shock and die. 135 of Malaysia's toughest men are in the middle of a 3-month selection course to become part of Malaysia's elite special forces unit, the GGK Commandos. They are in Phase 2, a 160-kilometer forced march lasting 3 days. A recruit has become severely dehydrated. If he doesn't get saline solution fast, his body could shut down. He wakes but needs urgent medical attention. He'll survive, but for him and 14 others hospitalized today, it's the end of the line.
Dia tenaga kadang-kadang tak tahu kan. Sebab dia minat je ni. Dia bila kita dah dulu satu peringkat kita jadi ada satu kenangan. Kita macam peringkat ni macam saya yang gagal. Saya tengok member-member yang dulu lah. Jadi kita sedih lah. Sebab tak boleh ikut kan.
120 kilometers into the march, and the survivors finally reach a rest stop. No one has voluntarily quit yet, but with 60 kilometers left to go, it's early days.
Tomorrow very much harder. My last to say that for the first 50 or 40 minutes, you will use your strength to face your physical. And the rest, just use your mental. But keep going. Dia orang fikir sekarang ni dia mau nak pakai cranberry. Itu saja dia pakai fikir. Sebab itu dia punya matlamat dia datang untuk mandiri itu. Kalau dia nak fikir dia penat, dia akan gagal.
Tomorrow, they are going to have to do it all over again. Face dehydration, hunger, pain, and the worst enemy of all, self-doubt. GGK commandos are sent to places where self-doubt isn't something they can afford. 1993, Somalia's capital Mogadishu is plagued by poverty and civil war. 2 U.S. Black Hawk helicopters were shot down, and Malaysian special forces were called in to help with the rescue operation. Under constant attack from rebels, took 2 full days to get the trapped soldiers out. 1 GGK commando was killed and several wounded. Real missions can range for days on end without clear outcomes. But commandos must have complete confidence in their abilities to grapple with the unknown. 5 a.m. Day 3, and recruits have begun the final day of their 160-kilometer forced march. It will take all their willpower to push to the end.
Kemampuan digital tu tak penting kan, yang penting kemampuan mental. Halangan pada diri sendiri tu merupakan musuh kita tu, diri sendiri.
With 10 kilometers to go, some have dug deep inside to find the energy to make a run to the finish line.
Dulu saya dah nombor 1 lah. Saya sebab saya tahu orang saya boleh India. Saya buat latihan lah. Bukan latihan saja. Bukan untuk training saja.
160 kilometers in 3 days. Recruit 143 has completed his personal mission. He is the first to cross the green clearing that marks the end of their forced march. The second group, hot on his heels.
Terus je kan, sebab yang luar cakap ada tak saya pada kemampuan kita. Bila kita melari ni lah, kita akan dapat bayangkan macam mana yang orang dah kegalan, sangat dahsyat tu. Kita
118 recruits have made it to stage 3 and it's about to get tougher. Their next mission, to drop deep into the harshest place imaginable. Survive for 2 weeks without food or water. When commandos need to hide, they know where their enemies will not follow them. And GGK have mastered the art of jungle warfare after successfully beating a communist insurgency in the 1960s. Rebel strongholds were deep inside Malaysia's jungles. GGK not only had to find and fight them, but learn to survive in this most hostile of environments. Commandos would often be sent into the jungle with 1 month's supply of food for operations that could last 3 months. Exhaustion, tropical disease, and wild animals claimed the lives of some men, but the experience gained made them ultimate jungle fighters. The GGK chose the most extreme environment to train their commandos in survival. Malaysia's remote swamplands are as uninhabitable as it gets. They have nothing but a machete and 3 simple tasks: to find clean water and to build a shelter. But in this environment, nothing is easy. They face extreme heat, heavy rainfall, mud, snakes, and crocodiles. And just to make things worse, mosquitoes and sandflies are everywhere. An early survival tip from the instructors makes the start slightly more bearable.
Tengok dekat agas, angin kita berlumpur dekat jalan luar.
This exercise simulates escaping from capture and surviving a period of evading enemy patrols.
Tak pilih tempat yang begini, tempat payah begini sebab tinggal semua ada musuh, susah nak ketat, dia susah nak menjauh masuk. Ni kita tempat payah ni kita buat untuk dia nak menyesuaikan diri dengan keadaan payah.
The mud sucks away whatever energy these recruits have left.
Dah dua pilih biscuit before. My sister's cookie. Yeah, still got more to go.
Recruits are allowed to eat anything they can catch, but they must share it.
Kami ikut jap dengan kawan-kawan. Asal seronok dapat tengok.
Pasti tak makan.
Dengan saya ni, walaupun keadaan darurat, saya mesti dapat boleh makan. untuk menambahkan tenaga. You cannot choose favorite fish. You just finish. Sebab dia pakai tumbuk tu menandakan dia telah berjaya menangkap, jadi dia akan jadi bangga. Jadi benda ni dia akan menjadi menarik minat kumpulan-kumpulan yang lain, akan berusaha lebih lagi untuk nak survivalkan diri mereka nak hidup.
The water in the swamp is brackish and unbearable to drink. So Malaysia's torrential rainstorms are both a source of suffering and salvation.
Dengan keadaannya sejuk, bila menjelang malam dia akan bertambah lagi sejuk. Ini pertama kali pasal drum, jadi drum yang patut disambungkan. Jadi apa yang boleh buat sini, benda ni dibelah di mesin perut, lepas tu disalai. Itu yang boleh buat, saya tambah mesin salai. Bila dia buat tu mesin sikit, salai sampai kering, saya kerja awal tu berat saya 21 bulan. Dan sekarang ni saya rasa mungkin berat saya menjadi 69.
States, it's hard for the recruits to catch enough food. So as a backup, here is a survival tip number 2.
Operator ni dia boleh mendatangkan tenaga gerak. Dia boleh pulihkan balik tenaga, tapi dalam jangka masa pendek dia boleh bertahannya untuk hari lah.
But they're only allowed to eat 3 snails a day, forcing them into the worst possible state. Those who break this rule will face the consequences. Candidates are in the last month of a 13-week selection course to join Malaysia's elite GGK commandos. They are in their 3rd phase of training, and have been dropped deep into swampland to learn how to survive. Snails are the easiest food to catch here, giving them the energy boost they desperately need. Learning to cope with situations this bad will help save their lives in real conflict.
Jadi ini adalah seafood yang diorang cari untuk makanan diorang dalam keadaan lapar. Dia akan duduk gunakan parang bagi pecah guna cengkerang ini, lepas tu dia akan koyak, dia akan tarik dia punya ni. Sebab kita mesti kena potongkan bahagian ekor ni, sebab baru dia boleh, sebab dia ada pusing ni, isi dia. Dia melangkah-langkah dalam ekor ni.
Isolation is a good time for thought.
Sebab dalam latihan komando ni, keluarga memang tak bagi risiko. Tapi saya datang sini secara sembunyi lah, tak bagi tahu dia bahawa saya nak masuk rumah tu. Setelah saya sampai kat Melaka selama 2 minggu, baru saya kontak bagi tahu dia yang saya dah ada kat Melaka. So dia tak buat apa, buat saya duduk kat Melaka lah. Dia tak dapat nak halang lah, tak dapat nak suruh saya balik. Sebab utama saya, semua tu memang saya minat apa tu.
At 2 a.m., he's been caught eating extra snails. Not sharing this bounty is against the rules.
Jadi tak ada makna lah kita buat latihan survival sendiri lah.
Recruit 2 was the leader of the pack. His whole team will be punished. They will wash the mud from their bodies and be tied to a wooden platform exposed to the elements.
Dia akan merasakan kesusahan dia, masa perih, dia nyamuk, agas, dia tak boleh nak buka. Dia akan merasakan, dia akan risau lah.
It looks sadistic, but the message will stick with them forever.
Sebab komando ni dia akan bekerja dalam kumpulan kecil. Mungkin 5 orang, mungkin 10 orang. Jadi dia tak ramai macam ni. Jadi bila dia tak boleh nak bekerjasama dengan kumpulan dia, jadi gagal lah. Dia seorang boleh bekerja, kerana dia tak boleh juga nak melaksanakan tugas tanpa kawan-kawan dia.
This swamp will claim the weak, and it will take everything they have to continue. chances of making the grade have just taken a very bad turn.
Secret keeps me fresh for those long flights, and it's totally middle seat approved.
Origin, packed with whole grain nutrition.
This is Buick. Now. Buick. Exceptional by design.
Get 0.9% APR on these 2025 Buick models. Plus, current eligible non-GM owners get up to $3,000 allowance on Encore GX.
The group was tied up the entire night. Survived it, but the next day brings new challenges. Normally, these men need 2,500 calories a day. Here, many are living on less than 3. Some have lost up to 9% of their body weight. They are weak and tired, but the elements show no mercy. The threat of flooding has forced them to move their shelters to higher ground. Recruit 2 needs to push his team into building a treehouse that can withstand the harshest conditions. His own energy levels are at their lowest point in the selection course.
So trebuie să fie updated.
At Castlemont.
Go on, sit down.
In Castlemonary, the future legionaries are still ahead of them with 4 weeks of instruction. Watch out. That evening, the participants were all summoned by Warrant Officer 7.
The fourth section gathered for the French course mentioned. Rest.
Galaxy Tyranno.
Sit down. Here you are on the farm of the second. Company of volunteer recruits. 4 weeks. 4 weeks. To transform some civilians. You. Into rustic and enduring legionaries. You will experience and overcome difficulties. Together. Alone, you may go faster. But together, you always go further. Get up.
Before starting another tough day, the military is gaining strength by receiving the first of 3 daily meals. Here, no fuss. Everything has been cleaned. A lot is served with a ladle to complement a very light meal.
In the morning, but obviously this is coming home, so but this is enough actually to keep the tank to lunch. Regional continental breakfast. There's a piece of bread, a piece of butter, the two that if you were to put some sweet water, 5 stars, huh? 5 stars. Training.
Red Ass Darkness Dragon.
With full sipping, the volunteers start a day not quite like the others. They are finally going to get their assault rifles. For them, an decisive symbolic step. For safety reasons, each assault rifle is numbered and preciously preserved in an armory permanently guarded from the inside. After everyone has received their FAMAs, volunteers will learn the basics of using it. First exercise in a long series that prepares them for real combat.
Watch out. Today with me, will see the basic manipulations and military services. Rest.
Instructor Oleg is the shooting specialist.
What is that? Who can tell me what it's called?
Farmers.
Repeat.
Farmers. Charger. Bayonet. Unfill the charger.
Repeat.
Unfill the charger.
Now look here. We're doing this exercise. Understood.
Yes, Sergeant.
You don't shoot with live ammunition. Understood.
Yes, Sergeant.
Blank balls. Not to kill. Not to kill. Blank balls for exercise. We do the exercise with this.
Is it hard to do what they do?
It's not hard, it's interesting. You have to be very pedagogical with people who don't understand anything right now. It takes time to repeat and repeat each time. We unscrew the white shooting plugs, and afterwards we put them in place. You have to put it on well. Press. Press.
For the Frenchman, Cyril, former fireman, the handling of the FAMAS is a big first.
The first time with a gun, of course.
To get scammed from the tablets of 100 milligrams
There's my dog.
Give Frenchman the chance to see if
Oh, there's a bunch of them. I'm gonna get more than 2 URs. Gadget driver, nice. I have a gadget driver. Still. First edition gadget driver too. I have all the original Prince Peace cards. I mean the older ones, not these new cards. Dual avatar fist. Cool. That looks like a deck I'm interested in.
Was lucky enough to dodge both the drone and the following explosion. In the meantime, the Russian soldier on the motorcycle who had been chased by the drone at the beginning crashed his vehicle but was not wounded. His comrades quickly lent him a hand to help him get back on his feet. Intense GoPro footage captured the moment the Ukrainian soldier triggered an anti-personnel mine while his group was leaving a building. The men were part of a sniper unit operating in Turets in the summer of 2024, but the footage was only recently released. Here we have footage from a Ukrainian FPV interceptor drone that was chasing a Russian fixed-wing kamikaze drone, which in turn was chasing a Ukrainian pickup truck. Sadly for the Ukrainians, the Russian drone won the race and managed to strike the Ukrainian vehicle before the FPV drone could intercept
Monster
it.
+1 monster special. Wow. Invoke Asylum. Bro, yeah, this Invoker deck is. What the world? Bro, this Invoke deck is crazy. Why? Why do we need spirit letters? I can make a spirit message deck. I still remember how to build that. do it with Destiny Heroes. I still remember how to do it. I like the Destiny Heroes. I did like the heroes. Remote Galaga. Alistair Book Romantic.
Sloviansk highway. After the Ukrainian scouts had taken up position and elongated, abandoned, empty buildings that looked like a warehouse, they began their observation, during which one of the soldiers suddenly spotted a Russian soldier.
Крайне посмотрите план. Его прям видно хорошо. Прям самое-самое левое. Видишь? Да, это он стоит.
After an incoming FPV drone disrupted the relative silence, the Ukrainians opened fire with their rifles, and a short firefight broke out. The scouts ceased fire when a second FPV drone arrived on the scene and struck what appeared to be the roof of their building. Since the building's relatively open layout offered only limited protection against FPV drones, the men quickly realized that they had to change their position. After a brief consultation about whether to fall back or go on the offensive, the men quickly came to a decision, and that decision was to attack. Their first objective was a lone Russian soldier who was quickly cornered. To be safe, the Ukrainians used a thermobaric grenade. After the detonation, the men stormed the building again to throw another grenade. The Russian was taken out, and the men continued their clearing operation. Fortunately for them, the Russians, while constantly trying to hide from Ukrainian drones, had dispersed across several buildings, isolating their individual elements and making any concentrated or coordinated. However, this also forced the Ukrainians to painstakingly clear every building one by one in search of them. When another small Russian pocket of resistance was identified, the Ukrainians quickly pushed forward with speed and aggression to seize the initiative in the situation. This time, Russians put up much stronger resistance, and an intense close-quarters firefight broke out. However, Ukrainians managed to eliminate at least one of the Russians and offered the remaining ones a chance to surrender. By the Russians, and the fighting continued. Nonetheless, the second call to surrender was made.
I remember when the Mortonics dropped.
The original video is about 10 minutes long and can be watched on the channel of the 3rd Assault Brigade. I'll link it in the description, as there's a lot of other intense footage I want to go through in this upload, so stay tuned.
Oh, there's a couple of them, huh?
They should.
Earthbound or
have recently resumed the deploying larger mechanized formations again, especially in the area around Pokrovsk. This drone video released by the Azov Brigade shows one of these assaults that took place on October 16. According to Azov, 22 armored vehicles were involved in the attack, which might not sound like a huge number compared to Russia's troop buildup during the Battle of Avdiivka, for example, but it still ranks among the largest documented mechanized assaults in recent months. This is especially true considering that it was already the third assault of this scale carried out by Russian forces in this area between October 9th and 16th, 2025. In the drone footage, the mechanized column can be seen coming under Ukrainian fire during the advance, though the footage was recorded from a larger distance. Nevertheless, several direct hits can be seen. It seems that the Ukrainians used a mix of artillery, other precision-guided munitions, and mines against the Russian formation. Azov reported that the main line of the Russian assault departed from the area of Alvivka with the goal of capturing the settlement of Shakov. This picture, created by Infactum on Telegram, shows the movement of the column based on geolocations. Azov also reported that the enemy tried to change its offensive tactics. While Russian armored columns previously advanced from deeper within their own lines, this time on October 15 they attempted to move equipment closer to Shakov and conceal it in a forest belt. The maneuver failed, as two armored vehicles were spotted by reconnaissance and destroyed by artillery and FPV drones before reaching cover. The assault was preceded by another attack carried out on October 13, during which the Russians launched an offensive involving 16 heavy armored vehicles, including BMPs, MTLBs, and tanks. In the first wave, motorcyclists advanced, followed by armored vehicles carrying infantry. Azov stated that the Russians used electronic warfare systems to suppress Ukrainian defense drones while the columns aimed to deliver infantry to the settlements, where they were expected to secure positions and later begin offensive actions to capture the designated areas. Ukrainian drones were still able to operate, however, as we can clearly see in the footage. According to Ukrainian sources, confirmed enemy losses amounted to 78 servicemen, and virtually all of the vehicles were destroyed. The first of the three assaults, launched on October 9th, was the largest, involving 35 heavy armored vehicles. Ukrainian sources reported that the Russians conducted offensive actions in several waves and from different directions. Once again, groups of motorcyclists advanced first, followed by columns of armored vehicles, tanks, and infantry fighting vehicles carrying troops. In Volodymyrivka, the Russians managed to deploy 32 infantrymen, 12 of whom were taken out immediately. The remaining soldiers tried to hide in destroyed houses and basements, but in the evening and at night, heavy bomber crews struck those shelters. On that day, one armored tractor, 3 tanks, and 16 enemy armored fighting vehicles were destroyed or damaged. Additionally, 41 motorcycles and 2 light vehicles were lost. In terms of infantry, 107 were reportedly killed and 51 were wounded.
In the Win Within sweepstakes, you can get a chance to win $100,000. But there's more than one way to win Within. Here's how it works. For 5 weeks until November 24th, we're giving away a total of 5,000 premium prizes. Each time you enter, you also earn a chance at the $100K grand prize. Enter every week to boost your chances. What would winning $100,000 look like for you? Enter Win Within, and you can find out. Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical.
FlexCar is the world's first ever month-to-month car lease. Drive what you want, when you want, without signing your life away. That's the freedom of FlexCar. Once you flex, you'll never buy a car again.
When adding everything up, Russian losses amount to 45 armored vehicles, 44 motorcycles, and at least 180 soldiers KIA. A heavy toll, not even including the wounded soldiers or damaged vehicles. While these recently intensified assaults might suggest that the Russians are falling back into old habits after their so-called summer offensive failed to achieve the desired results, after all, the territorial gains we've seen in recent months have steadily declined. It could also be that the Russians are feeling somewhat pressured by Trump's renewed impatience with Putin and his delaying tactics. While this is, of course, just a possibility, there are still several things that could indicate it. For one, there's the dichotomy between what Trump wants and what the Russians are doing. In short, what Trump basically wants is to end this war as quickly as possible, and to achieve that, he has been quite accommodating toward the Russians since taking office. For one, there was the public humiliation of Zelensky, but also the fact that, by temporarily halting the sharing of key intelligence information with Ukrainian forces in Kursk, he effectively allowed Putin to regain control over the occupied parts of the region without much difficulty. And how did the Russians respond to this back then? Well, they basically strapped the Soviet flag back on and charged straight toward the Ukrainians, as if it were only a matter of time before the old glory of the Soviet Union would return. And what happened after the Trump-Putin-Alaska summit, where Trump essentially rolled out the red carpet for Putin and both sides stated that there had been broad consensus on Ukraine and the fact that the war must come to an end? Well, the Russians charged at the Ukrainians again, but this time, they strapped an American flag alongside the Russian flag onto a captured vehicle, as if it were now Russia and the USA against Ukraine. Oh yeah, and they ramped up their deep strikes against Ukraine, targeting everything from civilian areas to critical infrastructure. And these strikes were heavier than ever before. Retaliate against this type of attack with drones, but the interception rate for these fixed-wing loitering positions is relatively high, and their range is not as great as that of missiles. Nevertheless, Ukrainians managed to defeat these drones. Time and again, Ukrainian drones succeeded in evading Russian defensive fire. Missile bomb Flamingo, the Ukrainians were now even able to strike targets deep inside Russia without restrictions. The missile primarily targeted and severely damaged Russia's energy infrastructure, marking the first time Ukraine's strategic response to Russia's bombing campaign had a measurable effect. And here's another reason why this attack could also be a sign that the pressure on Putin has increased after all. Russia's oil industry is crucial to funding this war. Recent reports also revealed that the United States supplied Ukraine with vital intelligence to strike these sites, and combined with the fact that Trump has kept the option open to also supply Ukraine with cruise missiles, this becomes even more probable.
I did actually say, would you mind if I gave a couple of thousand tomahawks to your opposition? I did say that to him. I said it just that way. He didn't like the idea. He didn't like the idea.
In response to the recent developments, there was also a more than 2-hour-long phone call between Trump and Putin, during which they agreed to hold another meeting. Shortly afterward, Trump posted the following: "I have just concluded my telephone conversation with President Vladimir Putin of Russia, and it was a very productive one. President Putin congratulated me and the United States on the great accomplishment of peace in the Middle East, something that, he said, has been dreamed of for centuries. I actually believe that the success in the Middle East will help in our negotiation in obtaining an end to the war with Russia divided by Ukraine." President Putin thanked the First Lady, Melania, for her involvement with children. He was very appreciative and said that this will continue. We also spent a great deal of time talking about trade between Russia and the United States when the war with Ukraine is over. At the conclusion of the call, we agreed that there will be a meeting of our high-level advisors next week. The United States initial meetings will be led by Secretary of State Marco Rubio, together with various other people to be designated. A meeting location is to be determined. President Putin and I will then meet in an agreed-upon location in Budapest, Hungary, to see if we can bring the rolling war between Russia and Ukraine to an end. A day later, there was a meeting between Trump and Zelensky, after which Trump posted the following: "The meeting meeting with President Volodymyr Zelensky of Ukraine was very interesting and cordial, but I told him, as I likewise strongly suggested to President Putin, that it is time to stop the killing and make a deal. Enough blood has been shed, property lines being defined by war and guts. They should stop where they are. Let both claim victory, let history decide. No more shooting, no more death, no more vast and unsustainable sums of money spent. This is a war that would have never started if I were president. Thousands of people being slaughtered and everything, no more. Go home to your families in peace. And Zelensky agreed, but listen for yourself.
We have to stop where we are, as he is described. President described that we have to stop where we are. This is what to stop where we are, and then to speak.
And President Trump also re-emphasized this once again verbally after the meeting.
I bet you know today. Stop. Stop the killing, and that should be it. Stop right now at the battle line. I know that to President Zelensky. I know that to President Putin. Thank you very much, everybody.
The way Mr. Trump are framing it sounds like they're proposing to freeze the conflict along the current front line, which would mean Russia keeps all the territory it has captured so far. A huge concession by Ukraine, given that its strategic goal was to reclaim all of its territory. It also makes it clear that the ball is now unmistakably in Putin's court, bringing us back to the recently renewed aggressiveness of Russian forces. Because it may now be that, for the first time, the Russians are beginning to realize that their gamble with Trump is backfiring and that they could face unforeseen consequences if they continue to toy with him and try to stall with further delays. It seems we're once again in a situation similar to early 2024, when I already reported that Russia's plan was to bring as much territory as possible under control and big structure which Moscow would bring into the war and simply freeze the conflict. In my first Ukraine war update in 2024, I talked about exactly this scenario and even raised the question of what might happen if the Russians tried to play Trump for a move. It now appears that we're about to find out nearly 2 years later. As mentioned, the ball is now in Russia's court. I will also link the video I talked about in the description box so you can listen for yourself and see how well it aged. However, on the other hand, it strongly appears that even if the Russians have realized that, at some point, they will eventually have to abandon their breadcrumb stalling tactics with Trump. They are still testing the waters to see how far they can go, especially after Trump indirectly made another concession ahead of his upcoming meeting, when he walked back on the Tomahawk issue. During the call with Trump, he already demanded that Ukraine hand over territory instead of agreeing to a freeze of the front line. Here he particularly meant the Donetsk region, where the recent failed assaults took place. But as a wise man once said, we will see. Here we see a group of Russian drones trying to finish off an abandoned Bradley, which turns out to be quite a challenge for them. The first fixed-wing drone appears to fail to detonate entirely, followed by an FPV drone that hits the vehicle but causes little additional damage. A second fixed-wing drone also misses the Bradley, and the fourth and final drone, which is filming the entire scene, gets caught in the Bradley's protective netting. And here we have interesting Ukrainian drone footage showing a Russian UAZ Tukanka triggering several mines with electromagnetic fuses that were tactically placed by Ukrainian drones. It seems that a total of 5 mines were triggered, after which the vehicle caught fire but kept rolling for some time. The crew, however, miraculously managed to jump out of the burning vehicle and flee. Mines, and especially their sheer number, are a major problem for both men and machines in Ukraine. Larger, clearly visible concentrations of mines can be deliberately detonated by drones or other means if they are found, and especially mines by smaller, lighter vehicles, as these video examples reported by Russian soldiers show fairly well. However, especially individual mines tactically placed by drones are insidious and often have to be cleared manually by soldiers. The same applies to anti-personnel mines, and quite often, rather unconventional methods are used for this as seen here. This, of course, also comes with risks, especially when dealing with things like FPV drones, where one should be extremely careful and choose the length of the stick wisely. But with that, now move on to the Telegram part of the video. The link to it is in the description, so see you there.
Jarlsberg's sweet and nutty taste is so versatile and delicious. It's hard to put into words. Holy shit. I put it in it. Jarlsberg. Really good cheese. That's classic first-timers. They don't know that nearly half of all used cars have been in an accident. But Carfax shows how accidents impact price. Shop y'all at Carfax.com. Ancient carvings depicting dinosaurs with humans. Sometimes this resides riding on the back of the dinosaurs. The fossilized tracks of dinosaurs and man discovered side by side. Footprints of dinosaurs and all in fact, should not be in the same levels of coexisting. And high levels of radiation found in the bones of a Tyrannosaurus rex. The reason they had the same level of case is because they discovered that they were very, very radioactive. Did the dinosaurs fall victim to a cosmic collision? Or were they deliberately killed off? Is it possible that what we have here was in fact not an extinction, but an extermination event? Millions of people around the world believe they've been visited in the past by extraterrestrial beings. What if it were true? Did ancient aliens come to shape our history? And if so, will science reveal the connection between aliens and dinosaurs? England, 1819. In a quarry just outside the village of Stonesfield, paleontologist William Buckland discovers several fossilized bones of an enormous unknown animal, including portions of a lower jaw with teeth still in place. Though similar bones have been found in the past, Dr. Buckland was the first European to officially record the discovery of a dinosaur, or as he called it, a Megalosaurus. Since then, dinosaurs have been discovered on every continent in the world.
There are all kinds of dinosaurs that have been found. You have lady dinosaurs like the stegosaurs, you have horned dinosaurs, you have meat-eating dinosaurs, you have all sorts of dinosaurs. They live in very different environments, deserts, tropical forests, by the seashore.
There are thousands of species of dinosaurs that we know, and no doubt thousands more that we don't know. They range in size from human size to the largest land animals ever.
The largest land animal today is the elephant, but the elephant would be a midget in comparison to one of these dinosaurs. You're talking about an animal that weighs 25 times the weight of an adult male elephant. These animals reach lengths of about 120 feet and weights of 100 tons. The gladiators would have been
Dang man, they turns take forever, bro. I don't even know what I'm going to do. They just be on around and around and around. What's they going to do? Build a deck to kill somebody. what?
The dinosaurs were completely different from our world. During the age of the dinosaurs, many other animals lived. Giant reptiles swimming in the ocean, flying reptiles flying over the heads of dinosaurs. We also have insects, mammals, amphibians, and other creatures. The dinosaurs were the king of the land.
Imagine in science fiction what it would be like to travel to an exotic, exciting, strange alien world where these giant creatures roaming around the planet that it happened here on Earth in our prehistory.
I don't want to play alone or die. These pantaloons.
Tyrannosaurus Rex was most likely covered with scales, but with feathers. These feathers, dinosaurs, they're actually preserved in amputation, and so dinosaurs now believe that many, if not most of them, had a feathery covering somewhere. You know they have very complex shapes. Eggs that we find show that many dinosaurs made nests on the ground and they brought developing young.
In the past, we envisioned dinosaurs as lethargic, gigantic reptiles that were slow and sluggish. That notion has changed completely. We interpret them now as being much more active. Many of them were feathered and presumably were warm-blooded. We know that they move very fast. Essentially, dinosaurs were very atypical reptiles if you want. We still have a lot to learn about the dinosaurs.
It would be easy to find a dinosaur. Finding a dinosaur is just more complex. But while paleontology continues to discover information on the lives of dinosaurs, ancient astronaut theorists believe there may be an otherworldly connection to their demise. When looking at dinosaurs, there's some key questions that really need to be answered. We don't know their level of intelligence. We don't really know what happened to them. More importantly, where do they come from? Scientists truly believe that dinosaurs in this planet were 5 billion years. In comparison, modern Homo sapiens, humans, have only been around for about 200,000 years. So dinosaurs are by far the dominant species in the history of this Earth. But in the early 1800s, if you told someone the Earth used to be teeming with giant beasts, some of which weighed over 100 tons, a person would say to you, crazy. And yet, today, dinosaurs are scientific fact. Dinosaurs could very well have been a early experiment by extraterrestrials with life on Earth. This planet has been capable of supporting life for millions, if not billions of years. The accepted belief within the scientific community is that dinosaurs dominated the planet until a catastrophic event wiped them out 65 million years ago.
There was a mass extinction that essentially exterminated maybe 50% of what was alive. Among the 50% are the last dinosaurs that lived during the age of the dinosaurs. Things like Triceratops, T-Rex.
We are speculating, and we have seen science trying to come up with answers. And so how the dinosaurs disappeared is something which is still an open question, which science has no answers so far.
It is possible that extraterrestrials may have wanted to trade out the dinosaurs for a more intelligent species in their likeness. And Earth was the perfect place to do it. Were the dinosaurs killed off by a cosmic natural event, as mainstream scientists believe? Or might the dinosaurs have been the target of extermination? Perhaps the answer may be found by examining numerous ancient carvings and other artworks in which dinosaurs and man are shown to have coexisted. Planet Earth, 65 million years ago. An 8-mile-wide asteroid hurtles towards the planet at approximately 12 miles per second and strikes the region now known as the Yucatan Peninsula with a force of 100 billion megatons of TNT. According to mainstream science, this catastrophic event forever changed the climate and the topography of Earth and ended the reign of the dinosaurs.
The object that came in was 8 or 10 miles in diameter. That instant dug a deep hole, lost the material into the atmosphere. Black dust shrouded the planet in darkness. Well, maybe for a couple of years.
At a time in which sunlight is simply shut out from the Earth's surface, photosynthetic organisms and plants begin to die.
The plague-eating dinosaurs would have nothing to eat and would have died off. The meat-eating dinosaurs then have nothing to eat either, and this might have lasted anywhere from 5 to 10 years. How quickly the extinction took place is a matter of debate.
But is it possible that some species of dinosaur actually survived this cataclysmic event? And not only survived, but thrived for several thousands or even millions of years. Perhaps clues can be recovered near a crater where scientists believe the giant asteroid struck the Earth, right in the heart of what is now the Yucatan Peninsula. Today, less than 90 miles from the epicenter of the asteroid impact, lies one of the largest and best preserved cities of the ancient Maya, Chichen Itza.
You have to wonder if it's not some strange coincidence that the same spot, the Yucatan, which experienced this devastating asteroid strike, which caused extinction of the dinosaurs, is also the main habitation area of the ancient Maya.
Chichen Itza is said to have been the place where the Mayans made contact with the gods. And I find it an extraordinary coincidence of all the potential places around the Gulf of Mexico which they could have chosen. They took a place where literally something fell from the sky 65 million years ago. And the Mayans believed that this contact with the gods, this contact with the sky, happened there up until the most recent of time. And so what we have here is either a coincidence or something else going on. And maybe this something else is only something which hardly anybody has touched upon. But I think it is something which really needs to be explored in far more detail.
In the Mayan area and other areas of Mexico, there are curious depictions of dinosaurs. There's pterosaurs, there's a famous dinosaur that appears on one of the paintings at their bottom path. So you have to wonder just how the Mayans knew about dinosaurs. Supposedly dinosaurs have been extinct for millions of years.
But if, as mainstream scientists believe, the dinosaurs have been extinct for millions of years before the evolution of mankind on this planet, then what would explain the wealth of Mayan art depicting interactions between humans and what appear to be dinosaurs, found in the very area where they supposedly died off? Ancient astronaut theorists believe that additional evidence can be found in northern Cambodia and one of the largest temple complexes in the world, Angkor Wat. Here, among the intricate stone carvings that adorn the walls of the sacred site, we researchers have been fascinated by numerous images of animals that supposedly roamed the region when the temple was built.
This photo took our family over 2 weeks to make, and here's how I added magic to the Disney Photoshop. We attached 40 waterproof lights, 4 storage bins to an old bed frame, and decorated it, and it was photo time. After I captured the moment, I took the photo into Adobe Photoshop and removed the with a stamp tool. Then I used the spot healing brush tool to quickly remove all the wires. Next, I created the bioluminescent water with a cloud brush, did the blending mode, and levels adjustment. And finally, I fixed the mermaid tail using an Adobe soft koi fish photo before hand drawing the rest, and here's the final photo. Time Photoshop free for 7 days. So, last night, either 10. Honestly, nothing better than when a guy brings himself. There's, I can't stop thinking about him. Thank you for this message. Can't say to guys out there, we just love what you do. And keep out some of these. I know it's coming. And discover longer, better time in the bedroom. Get started today at Hims.com.
But one, what appears to be a dinosaur, has archaeologists and scholars scratching their heads. There's a temple called Tom Hook, and it has a series of medallions carved into its surface. And one medallion in particular is attracting attention because it looks like a stegosaurus. And so some have cited this as an example of a dinosaur that lived into historical years. The stegosaurus not as a skeleton, like the stegosaurus skin and muscles as if somebody saw it while it was alive. So how is it possible that the artist was able to carve something like this? Did they receive the knowledge of something like this?
There's no doubt that ancient civilizations must have encountered dinosaur remains, and many of them lived in areas where dinosaurs are very abundant, and a few of them found them here and there. And I think that the fact that they have incorporated what appears to be dinosaurs in their artistic depiction speaks of an attempt to interpret them. How exactly they interpret them, I don't believe it is clear. Even 200 years ago, we had a hard time figuring out how the bones of dinosaurs fit together.
What could explain the ancient humans of man for one having such a sophisticated knowledge of dinosaur anatomy? It may, as many ancient anthropologists believe, that their knowledge came firsthand as the result of actual interaction. The Sotimo Hills, north of Botswana, Africa. Here, in 2001, archaeologists discover what many believe to be the world's oldest known religious artifact. A 20-foot-long serpentine rock carving made over 70,000 years ago by the ancient sun people. Serpent worship is one of the oldest known forms of religious worship, and it's absolutely everywhere that you look. But like the enormous scale of the serpent's head, measuring 6.5 feet tall, suggests that the carving represented not a python, but a dinosaur.
There's a lot of ancient artwork that clearly shows an actual reptilian species being worshipped by humans. Some sort of reptilian presence that was here on the Earth in the ancient past.
The question is it possible that our ancestors saw something that they tried to imitate? And the answer is a resounding yes.
Whenever it comes to evidence of the possibility that dinosaurs and mankind existed, each time science has tried to explain it away. But we know that the archaeological evidence really suggests that it is not that straightforward. It's definitely possible that our earliest ancestors met dinosaurs.
Most ancient depictions of dinosaurs, proof that humans and dinosaurs did, at one time, coexist. According to mainstream scientists, the notion is not only incredible, but downright impossible, unless, of course, confronted with evidence in the form of a fossilized footprint of a dinosaur side by side with that of a human. Dinosaur Valley State Park, Rose, Texas. Here, in 1930, Roland T. Byrne, field explorer for the American Museum, reported finding what appeared to be human footprints alongside dinosaur tracks in the same exposed layer of riverbed limestone.
Some researchers found human footprints alongside footprints of dinosaurs. Then other samples from other parts of the world that shows that human beings like us were present during the time of the dinosaurs.
And human footprints, dinosaurs, and all kinds of fossils. And scientists tell us that should not be in the same level as man, but we find them coexisting.
Now, we have never thought about this because science has told us that there is 65 million years between Earth and that. But there is again archaeological and geological evidence to suggest that this is not the case. There are footprints which show ancestors of ours and dinosaurs in the same strata.
With these fossilized footprints, evidence that at some point humans actually coexisted with dinosaurs. According to mainstream scientists, the fossil evidence found in Dinosaur Valley is inconclusive at best.
There are three basic dinosaur groups: Triassic, Jurassic, and Cretaceous. Actually, these were named not for the dinosaurs, but for the various rock structures that were found at that time. The Triassic dates back about 250 to 250 years ago. Jurassic, 200 to 135 million years ago, and the final, the Cretaceous, 135 to 65 million years ago.
It is simply impossible to say that every single dinosaur on planet Earth completely disappeared, and likely it is that at least some that will be survived for at least several more million years.
The most widely used scientific method to determine the age of fossils is by a process known as carbon dating, a technique that measures the rate of decay and radioactivity in an organic object.
Carbon-14 is not a stable isotope, so it decays over time, whereas the C12 carbon-12 does not decay. So by measuring the two against each other, we get very general age. In order to do carbon dating, you need organic material. You need wood or bone, something that lived. A piece of stone can't be carbon dated, and often archaeologists are reduced to finding something under that piece of stone, which is organic, and dating that, and then making the assumption, not necessarily correct, that the carving of the stone dates to the period of the thing under it.
For objects that are millions of years old, there is no scientific method that will allow us to date the object or bone itself. They have to date the dinosaur bone according to the age of the deposits in which it is found. There are methods that will allow them to date these deposits.
Carbon dating results don't get published in peer-reviewed journals. We have so many things happening with the world of science, whereby it is clear that scientists are playing a game. And so, this notion that somehow dinosaurs completely disappeared 65 million years ago is now something which science as such is really beginning to hold as well.
Carbon dating is the concentration of radiocarbon, carbon-14, is always a constant. And I think this is an assumption which may not be true. Because the carbon-14 is produced as a result of certain cosmic ray interactions in the atmosphere. But if those cosmic ray interactions changed in the past, which they may well have done,
destruction of carbon-14 that is present in the atmosphere at the time when it was fixed in whatever it is that was being tested will have not been the same as it is now.
But if the fossil evidence of dinosaurs cannot be reliably dated, might some bones actually be from the time thousands or even millions of years after paleontologists believed they became extinct? Ancient astronaut theorists believe the answer is yes, and they point to additional evidence found in South America. Ica, Peru. Here, in 1961, workers in the Ocupane Desert unearthed a collection of carved andesite stones. They depicted what appear to be human encounters with dinosaurs. And since then, approximately 50,000 of these mysterious stones have been found across the region.
I have photographed some 100 of it in a collection in the city of Ica. And there was an old Professor Dr. Cabrera. The Indians brought in stones from all over the country of Peru. And on these stones, you see fantastic engravings.
Peruvian physician Javier Cabrera began researching what had become known as the Ica stones in 1966. Ranging in size from small pebbles to large boulders, Dr. Cabrera's museum preserves over 20,000 of the strange rock carvings.
All dinosaurs died about 60 millions of years ago. So normally, no human being should ever have seen a dinosaur. But there are wonderful pictures, engravings of stone where you see humans and dinosaurs together. Sometimes the humans are even riding on the back of the dinosaurs.
What we have here is an Inca burial stone, which is very unique. And what it depicts is that man and dinosaur live interacting. We see the various Triceratops, Brachiosaurus, and the T-Rex, those type of creatures. So these Incas had to either see them or they knew a lot more about the dinosaurs because they drew them precisely.
Although many ancient astronaut theorists believe the stones date from the 5th century BC to the early 13th century AD, there are those in the scientific who remain skeptical about their origin. But consider this. Just the enormous number of stones would require that an artist carve more than 1,000 of them a year, every year, for 45 years. But if the stones are proved to be real, more questions remain. What happened to the dinosaurs? Did they simply get hunted to extinction? If so, by whom? And why?
Imagine a period of time when there are very few human beings about on this planet. And maybe there are dinosaurs about. We killed our ancestors. Our ancestors would get a planet when the dinosaurs. This would be the greatest threat to their survival.
Like the dinosaurs have proven to be too big, too territorial, or simply too deadly for mankind to allow their survival? Or was their demise part of a larger plan, not by humans, but by otherworldly beings, as many ancient astronauts speculate? And they believe further evidence can be found in the study of Earth-threatening asteroids. United States Capitol, 1992. Congress authorizes funding for the Space Guard program, a global network of telescopes designed to scan the skies for Earth-threatening asteroids. As of 2011, NASA has identified approximately 10,000 near-Earth objects that could potentially hit our planet.
Of all the natural hazards that we know, earthquakes, volcanoes, hurricanes, typhoons, the impact hazard, possibility of us being hit by a comet or asteroid, is the only one we can eliminate. You can never stop an earthquake or a volcano. But we have decades, 2 decades warning of an object like the Earth. We do have the technology, at least in principle, to send a spacecraft out and give it a nudge and just slightly change its orbit so it misses.
If we can control the trajectories of asteroids to direct them away from Earth, then it's certainly possible that highly advanced extraterrestrials could have had the technology to direct an asteroid towards Earth.
An advanced ET directs an asteroid to that spot.
Hit pause on whatever you're listening to and hit play on your next adventure. This fall, get double points on every qualified stay. Life's the trip. Make the most of it at BestBuster. Visit bestbuster.com for complete terms and conditions.
Evolution takes centuries. We don't have that kind of patience.
Hey, Rita.
This is gonna change everything.
Talk soon. Except my aunt from the house. Yeah, Candace from New American Funding. She's a lifesaver with a mortgage. She didn't remember that. This is real. This is the one with the walk-in pantry. You know, and I can shop at Bolt with that built-in grill.
You could cook in all. That's fast.
The primary.
Advanced ET directed an asteroid to the Yucatan Peninsula.
The question is, was this impact enough to trigger the extinction? That was controversial. Some people believe that that was enough. Some people believe that it wasn't. For decades, mainstream scientists believe that the asteroid that may have been responsible for wiping out the dinosaurs was a fragment of a giant asteroid called Baptistina. But on September 19, 2011, NASA concluded that the deadly asteroid may have had a different origin.
Some people think that they can guess what the origin was of the object that hit us 65 million years ago. Others disagree. We simply don't have enough data.
But if the asteroid did not break off of Baptistina, where did it come from? And is it possible, as some ancient astronaut theorists believe, that the object may not have been an asteroid, but an extraterrestrial weapon?
Perhaps the extinction was triggered by advanced ETs. Specifically, they might have used something to destroy the dinosaurs.
In 1980, physicist Luis Alvarez discovered a thin global layer of sediment nearly 65 million years old that contains high levels of iridium. An element not commonly found on Earth.
Those materials probably came from an asteroid. They could have come from a comet, but they definitely came from something in the solar system. Finding out here.
Some researchers believe iridium is deposited on Earth as celestial masses like meteors, comets, and asteroids. But the rare element can also be released into the atmosphere as a byproduct of something else. But the weapon, with the Earth's iridium layer, is the physical proof that advanced nuclear weapons had at one time devastated our planet, and likely have been deliberately deployed in an effort to wipe out the dinosaurs.
Some researchers point to evidence found within the recovered bones of these extinct creatures.
Most people don't realize that most of the T-Rex skeletons on display in various museums around the world are painted with a very specific paint. Now, the reason they had to paint them is because when they discovered the bones, they discovered that they were very radioactive.
But if dinosaurs really fell victim to a nuclear attack, might there be some sort of tangible evidence? Ancient astronaut theories believe the evidence does, in fact, exist in the pages of the ancient Hindu texts. We can look into the ancient Indian texts like the Mahabharata, and there are clear stories that describe lizards of various sizes, some even the size of buildings. They were all mass exterminated, and it was because of the angry gods. And we can look at this and say it's mythology, or was there some type of mass extinction level event caused by ancient aliens?
If we look at records like in the ancient Sanskrit writings in India, we see descriptions of weapons resembling modern atomic weapons. We also see descriptions of advanced technologies such as spacecraft.
In the Mahabharata and other sacred Indian texts, we can read that weapons of mass destruction were used that were brighter than 1,000 suns when they were deployed. And afterwards, silence fell over the affected land. If nuclear weapons were deployed, the only logical conclusion is that their origin was in fact extraterrestrial. Is it possible that what we have here was in fact not an extinction, but an extermination event? Might the dinosaurs really have been exterminated by extraterrestrial beings, as some ancient astronaut theories believe? And if so, would it be that some of them have, in fact, survived to this day? There are those who believe the answer is yes, that the evidence will be found in the creatures that exist right before our eyes. Stonehofen, Germany, 1861. Archaeologists discovered a strange fossil embedded in limestone. Its features clearly identify it as a dinosaur. But with one exception, it has wings. They call it Archaeopteryx, or ancient wing.
Archaeopteryx, like the Mona Lisa that was the world. It's an animal that lived about 150 million years ago. It had a long bony tail, big claws, teeth in its mouth. It was a small animal. It was certainly a flyer.
We don't know anything about feathers before this, but we certainly see in Archaeopteryx that it has feathers that are designed for flying.
Now, feathers may have been for warmth, they may have been for display to attract mates, or perhaps to help them be faster when either chasing prey or feeding themselves. The evidence appears to be very strong because there are actually over 100 anatomical characteristics that are similar to birds and dinosaurs. And one theory is that T-Rex, for example, has relatives today among chickens and ostriches.
Nowadays, it's very well accepted that dinosaurs are not extinct. You consider that we live with 10,000 species of living birds, that means 10,000 species of living dinosaurs. So many primitive birds that are very dinosaur-like. These are all missing links if you want.
Today, Archaeopteryx is the only species of dinosaur paleontologists believe capable of flying. But if this is the only flying dinosaur ever discovered, notice, as ancient dinosaur genes were able to evolve. According to evolution, all dinosaurs died out about 60 million years. First, there are many speculations what the reason is. It was said that if this would be true, why all the dinosaurs died? It should be that all kinds of animals were killed on Earth, even in the winter. So that is not the case. So the question is, why all of the dinosaurs died? Some creatures that we're familiar with have survived from very long ago. Cockroaches, crocodiles, and sharks, lizards. So the possibility exists that there are some that we have not seen in this very deep part of the ocean or in unexplored lakes. We don't know.
We have a number of reports of lake monsters around the world. The most famous, of course, Loch Ness in Scotland, are these dinosaurs that actually survived the devastation for 65 million years ago and found ecological niche to survive. For skeptics, believe that the dinosaurs died out 65 million years ago. I point to the case of the coelacanth. This is a so-called fossil fish that was discovered off the coast of Madagascar back in 1938. Now, it was believed extinct millions of years and actually predated the dinosaurs. This is a large fish, about 5 to 6 feet in length and 100 pounds. It's possible that the so-called evolutionary offspring of dinosaurs are a result of extraterrestrial intervention, as many ancient mathematical theories believe. And if so, how and why? Some believe the answers can be found with the bones of the dinosaurs themselves. In 1993, paleontologist Mary Schweitzer publishes a groundbreaking study concerning the fractured leg bone of Tyrannosaurus rex, one presumed to be almost 70 million years old. Here, Schweitzer discovered the remains of blood vessels and what appeared to be whole cells. The discovery contradicted what most mainstream scientists had long believed about the perishable nature of the soft body tissue of dinosaurs.
I think the possibility of finding proteins or portions of DNA, say, in animals that live hundreds of millions of years ago is certainly exciting because it opens up a world of paleogenetics, a world in which we can look at the genetic structure of this ancient organism in a way that we haven't known thus far.
Now, our thinking has been that everything of a soft niche like that would have been ossified and not exist today. Our research apparently shows that there could be DNA samples inside dinosaur fossils that could be extracted and it could be used to actually recreate one or more dinosaurs to actually give us Jurassic Park. Scientists are getting closer to extracting biology of dinosaur fossils. As the agenda suggests, that extraterrestrials may have pioneered this technique thousands or perhaps millions of years ago. That genetic material made dinosaurs to be smart and marked them with more magical species. I think it is possible that the coelacanth survived to a direct guarantee by extraterrestrials. And they might have saved coelacanth DNA and reintroduced coelacanth into the world ocean. So years after one extinction. And they counts for the crocodile turtles and all of the animals that we know today that have survived from the age of the dinosaurs. Yes.
very difficult to say what would happen if the large dinosaurs of the Mesozoic era didn't become extinct. But there's no doubt that the world as we know it today, in my opinion, it must have been formed by the disappearance of the dinosaurs.
Maybe it was made on purpose by extraterrestrials, simply because the dinosaurs had survived the had overtaken the planet Earth, and that was not in their plan. It was in their plan to create something like themselves, so human-like beings. The dinosaurs were not up for this game.
Extinction of dinosaurs had actually been a planned extermination by extraterrestrials. Some dinosaurs had actually survived the event that even coexist with man and still exist in another form. Perhaps these answers lie buried in the region of our globe. Because the more we learn about dinosaurs, the closer we may come to discovering the truth about the extraterrestrial nature of the strangest creatures that ever lived on planet Earth. Ourselves.
He didn't activate his effect.
Yeah, let's go.
Mining, mining. What the fuck? 10-year-old girl by an illegal migrant? Irish lives matter, oh boy. Man. And this is happening right now. They're anti-illegal migrants? I think that the backlash from the illegal migration is going to be really, really bad. I think that you guys have not even seen the opinions that people really have yet. You haven't. Like, it is going to be fucking brutal. We're gonna see people get lynched? Yeah, probably. Expect that. How many people in these countries have just completely lost their minds and have become increasingly
and extremely furious that their countries have allowed in a bunch of people that they are not allowed to really criticize or complain about because of what they perceive to be political correctness. And those people are, in their minds, given free reign over the country and not held to a standard that they think they should be held to. This is you have no idea. Yeah, it's really, really, really bad. And I think that what's going to happen is that once there's enough of those people together, they will elect a person that agrees with them. And when that happens, it's going to be really, really bad. And I genuinely mean that. It's going to be a horrible thing. And I think that it's been engineered by the current government. The EU needs more Trumps. A good example of a person that I would, like a recent example, is somebody like Duterte in the Philippines. What was Duterte's solution for the drug dealers? Just kill them. Just kill them. Okay, well, you got drugs, just shoot them. There it is. Kill them all. That happened very recently. So before people go and say, oh, well, it can never happen again because, of history and the, previous, authoritative leaders like Hitler or Mussolini or Franco.
He's like, this is bullshit. Why does this keep happening?
Well, in a way, but I think that the difference is that going after criminals in this way, I think that these people just want the other people out of the country, period, right? We're having the same anti-migrant marches and protests here in Australia. Yeah, and the problem is that a lot of these people haven't really been able to have a voice because they've been suppressed because it's been like, oh, it's like racist or, it's like sexist or, Islamophobic or some other variation of you can't talk about this. I'm Filipino, and they're still wanting someone like Duerte back? Yeah, of course. Of course. No. Did Don put in UK 1 million more? Second, it's only 100,000. Yes, we see at the top, immigration constraints. I think that there's a lot of reasons why it's happening. There's not one thing that's happening here. Canadian extremists Ezra 11 happened to be in Ireland for an impromptu far-right riot refugee center. The far-right didn't recognize them, so they belted them. Thoughts and prayers. Yeah, there it is. Ireland is on fire. Look at this. All of this is happening right now. Police listen to the orders of the government, right? They're going to listen to the orders of the government. And eventually, this is what I think is going to happen, is that one of the countries is going to elect a person that will weaponize the police to effectively remove all of the migrants and probably a lot of their immigrant communities from the entire country. I think that they'll weaponize the military and the police to do that. I think that's what's going to happen. After that happens, I think that once people see it happen inside of one country, it's going to create a domino effect across Europe. That is the most likely outcome with these rising tensions. It will never happen. Okay, but then we'll find out. Isn't Trump doing that right now? No. Absolutely not. So, arresting illegal aliens that are not supposed to be in the country is different than removing migrants that have come in as refugees. These are two very, very different things. Oh my god. You're severely underestimating how controlled the EU people are. They're unarmed against a very highly militarized police. I know that. That's why, if you listen to the words that I was using, I said that eventually somebody will vote.
Gotta use this sometime.
That will and weaponize the police. I was speaking specifically about the weaponization of the police themselves.
I mean, if you can't stop it, I'm not gonna quit. Time to fight, baby.
One right here. A lot bigger than the old one. And the old one was just a few weeks ago. Holy shit. Wow. Let me see if I can find a live stream of this. This is the collapse of the EU. No, I don't think that people really. I think that people do have a problem with. Like, I mean, I think the UK has this problem, and the UK, you know, and Britain has, like, you know, the Brexit thing, right? And so they're not even part of the EU. I think this is a cultural repudiation of the policies of mass migration. I don't think this is really EU focused. This is mainly about mass migration. I almost thought UK. Well, no, I was using the example because the UK is having the same thing happen. And so the UK isn't part of it.
You just couldn't stop it regardless, bro. This is funny.
It's about this specific issue. Cultural migration. I think that a lot of them just don't want, I mean, the truth is that, like, a lot of people don't want a bunch of foreigners with a totally different culture coming into their country. Period. I think this is true with Chinese, it's true with Japanese, it's true with Russians, it's true with Saudi Arabians, it's true with Polish, it's true with Americans, it's true with Brazilians. They don't want to have a bunch of people that are coming into their country that are totally different than they are, and then trying to advocate for policies that make them more comfortable. That's just the truth. Now, you might think this is problematic, or you don't like it, or whatever, but big surprise, people are comfortable and feel and want to be around other people that are like them. Fucking duh, obviously. A lot. Yeah, also migration is feeding into the current housing crisis. Yeah, I think it's pretty bad too. Let me go back and see if there's any more information about this. Dublin, the city is on fire. Falling up, here we go.
following on from the earlier upload that I made today on the attack in the ground.
Let me go back, I'll see if we can find another one. Yeah, it seems like this is just happening. Oh, this is like now? Well, it's not really so bad there. It seems like this is the only guy that's really in Northern Ireland. Holy shit. Yeah, things are really starting. Well, I mean, I guess everything's on fire, so it's true. Things are really starting to heat up here. I think most people are starting to feel sick of feeling like a minority in their own country. Yeah, I do think that like there's definitely a huge contingency of people that do have a tremendous amount of like racial awareness, and I think that inside of popular media and inside of like popular culture, it's not socially acceptable to really have that viewpoint, especially as a majority like white country. And I think that as this stuff becomes more and more extreme, that opinion will become more normalized because enough people will have it that it doesn't really matter if you think it's bad or not. I think a really great example of this, and like a mining canary for this, is the rise in the popularity of like Nick Fuentes. Because really, for a long time, Nick Fuentes was like deplatformed in a lot of places, and people didn't really associate with them or deal with them at all. But what's really happened is that after he's gained enough notoriety and popularity, people have now begun coming to the table. And I think that he's normalized a lot of rhetoric and opinions that previously would be considered unconscionable and just totally unplatformable. But now, because there's enough people that agree with him, that now is part of the global conversation or the cultural conversation. So anything can be part of the cultural conversation. Whether it's bringing back slavery, whether it's taking away people's rights to vote, whether it's getting rid of borders, or whether it's taxing and executing people for doing whatever you think is wrong in a religion. Anything is on the table. And the reason why is because if you can get enough people together, you can do anything that you want. It doesn't matter how great or how horrible it is, you can do it. And the truth is that what's happening now is that the extremism that these policies have led to has become normalized. It's become normalized, and for better or for worse, you can't just simply ignore those and say, oh, well, this is just a small group of people, because that group of people is becoming larger and larger and larger, and eventually it will get so big that they will vote and they will win. And when they vote and they win, there will not be the grace that you expect them to have. They're going to do, it's going to be bad. It's going to be very bad. And this is an engineered crisis, by the way. It never had to be like this. It never had to be like this at all. Ireland is very much about religion too. It's a deeply Catholic country, and it's one of illegal migrants in their non-Catholic ways. You're right. Religion is a huge part of a country's culture. I think you can look at the Middle East and probably come up with a example of that as well. I think there's certain South American countries that have the same thing also, European countries as well. Religion is extremely important, and whenever you bring in a bunch of people that don't share the same religion, you're going to have a lot of problems, because religion, in a lot of cases, it's tied to culture, it's tied to law, it's tied to education, it's tied to everything. That's just the way it is. You might not like it, you might disagree with it, it's true though. Hey, Dr. Why do you think the powers above are so happy with this level of mass migration? I think that it's not just the powers above. I think that there's a tremendous amount of people inside of these countries that are totally okay with mass migration because they don't really see the effects of it and they don't really think it is a problem. So basically, I think that the mass migration conflict, and this is what I was saying earlier, is actually a class conflict that people haven't realized yet. Because that's the reason why you have so many of these really old people
that are protesting for these migrants, etc. I think one of the big reasons for that is because these old people never, like, if they're on Social Security, they don't have to worry about this ever. Yeah, their pensions, exactly. Do you think this path will denaturalize anchor babies? I think that in Europe, that would be a best case scenario for a lot of the immigrant communities there. I think that they're going to do a lot more than that. Fence. They're mad at a fence. How could it do this? All full of secure conditions instead of cities and towns. That's really kicking off the tail end of Occupy Wall Street. Openness comes from poison into a wedge with intersectionality. Yeah, mass migration could be a result in a heavy welfare state and filling birth rates. There's a lot of other reasons too. I mean, I think there's definitely that. I mean, there's of course a lot of people bring that up too. I'll watch one more video about this, but no, this is fun. 12 days ago, I just read it. Let me see if I can find any of these that are happening. I'm actually surprised nobody's even talking about this. Nobody's bringing this up. Nobody's talking about this except for this one guy. This one guy is talking about it. Nobody else is even bringing this up at all. That's what I find to be so crazy about this. I guess we're going to have to watch this guy, right? On Rebel News, because nobody even... Oh, here we go. Okay, so here's one. It has 3K unused videos and over 100,000 views. Seems like a lot of people are probably not happy with the way this got covered. Okay, well, I'll watch a video on it and we'll see what he says.
For the fact she's shopping for a used car, but she doesn't know that nearly half of them have been in an accident. But I think that shows how accidents. The U.S. military has launched a new series of black ops across Mexico and Latin America, the scale of which hasn't been seen in decades. The U.S. military has launched a new series of black ops across Mexico and Latin America, the scale of which hasn't been seen in decades. But thanks to recently declassified documents and open source intelligence, it reveals risky missions that range from contract mercenary coups to covert action by Delta Force. Mom, can we have more? We have more at home. Today's episode is like an iceberg format video where we're going to start with the most crazy and end with the most batshit insane stories of U.S. black ops in Latin America. Right now, the U.S. is quietly building a new kind of covert battlefield along Mexico's Pacific coast. According to preliminary reports coming from Intelligence Online news service, American operators are already on the ground working inside the state of Baja California with the quiet consent of Mexican authorities. Baja California is the area of focus for several reasons. From the cartel's perspective, it's geographically perfect for trafficking into the United States because it borders the states of California and Arizona. And it's one of the only locations that has coastal access into the U.S. by water for the cartel.
From the US officials' perspective, it's also the perfect location to start missions, but for several very different reasons. But before we dive into that, if you're a cartel boss or a Delta Force operator, either way you share one thing in common. You don't want your personal information exposed. And this video sponsor, Delete Me, solved a huge problem that my wife and I were having.